What's up, y'all? It's your girl, My Desire, and the one and only Jazz. This is back with me. What's up, girl?
Hey girl, welcome back to another episode,
Welcome
y'all.
back. Yes, we are back. So we're running back for episode 3 of Run the World. And yeah, this episode, I would consider this episode a filler episode.
I
Like,
agree. I
it was
agree.
like it gave us just enough, but then it was like, it's like almost getting to the orgasm and then being like,
Ugh, we
like
gotta
I
wait
mean,
till the
like
next
the
episode.
act was good, but you didn't get the O, so you kind of feel like, well, what did I really accomplish? Like, I don't know. But let's talk about the big thing first. The
Mm.
big thing is that your girl Sondi's spot got blown up because
Oh my
they run
gosh.
into Ola, and he's like, yeah, this is where it happened. This is where the breakup happened. And Matt is like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, yeah, up in Sondi's apartment. Sondi's apartment? Like,
What would you do? Like, what would you do if you found out your girl had a sneaky spot? I would consider that as a hideaway, a
yeah,
sneaky spot hideaway. I mean, if I was him, right, outside looking in a more transparent point of view, that does she got a dude up in here? I would have been like him, like we going up to your apartment.
yeah.
Like, who do you have living up here? Like, she got groceries. It looks like that.
Bro, the Hello Fresh delivery.
Yo, I mean,
Yeah,
it looks like it was used. I thought it was just a space that might have been empty or like unused, but she's actually using this apartment.
yeah. You can't say I come here just a few times, like I'm not
No.
here often, but then you got groceries getting delivered. I mean, come on now, what's happening? Like, make it make sense. Like,
Yeah, she's
what?
in
Like,
trouble. She's in
yeah.
trouble.
I mean, but we knew this from the beginning, right? Like from once she moved out and she was living with Matt, we said like, when is she gonna tell that she has this apartment? And I'm so glad that Whitney brought it up though, because yeah, you out here giving advice, telling people that they should be honest, but you're not being honest yourself. And I would be highly upset. You've had this apartment for months.
Right.
4 months, and we've been in a whole relationship, and you didn't, like, come on. And I mean, here's the thing that I can't. Sometimes it bothers me with Sandy, right? She wants to be super independent. Yes, she wants to be in this relationship.
Hmm.
Like, sis, figure out what you're doing here. You have to have a balance. And essentially, when we get into relationships, any of us, we all lose. Or let me not use the word lose. We all give up something. We
You
compromise
sacrifice.
on something. Yeah, you
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Because she made it seem like, the scone episode, or when he was just sitting there watching him enjoy it. And now being a mother, because it seems like she's taking a role of a mother of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like while he seeing a man get enjoy time as a mother, it is kind of spiteful, a little bit. I've seen memes all over TikTok where like when they hear the wife open up the door, they're pretending to clean up because when the wife comes in and sees the man on the couch, they start being so angry.
Right,
So,
right.
she's like, I'm giving up something, like I've given it up. And there was a question and she answered it and it sounded like a question. She was like, yeah, yes. Like I'm okay, like to be with him, and like she just needs to do away with the apartment. If she's gonna be with the man, do away with the apartment.
Listen, I don't believe Sandy. I don't believe that she's thoroughly happy, because I don't believe that she knows what she wants. And I
Mm.
think that is the key with all of this. It's very like wishy-washy. She's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, essentially. Like, yeah, I'm with you, but if you make me mad or if I feel like I need some space, then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go to my place. So it's just very weird. It's like you can't pick and choose. You have to either be all in or all out.
But
While
you did mention something about her insecurities, right? It's like she's not really confident at all. She's not a real confident person. She's not confident with Baptiste, right? And then she's not confident in her relationship for her to hold back on the apartment. So I feel like the insecurities is stopping her from actually excelling in her career and in her relationship,
she
honestly.
needs a lot of approval and reassurance, and I think
Yeah.
that when you have a person with that kind of personality, one, it's your job to do your self-healing, your therapy, to get that together, right? So that
Hmm.
you don't take that into your relationship or in your career. But watching her do those kind of things, like, oh, this means you really like me. I mean, and Professor Baptiste said it right. She was like, stop doubting it, like, stop second
Being
guessing yourself.
surprised.
Yes, of being
Yeah.
surprised. I think that Sandy definitely. I'm wondering if they're ever gonna tackle that in this season. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it just definitely feels it just feels very much wishy-washy. She's in, she's
Mm-hmm.
out. She wants to be stepmommy, but then it's too much. And I
Mm-hmm.
get we're allowed to have our feelings and to feel what we
Mm-hmm.
want, right?
Yeah.
But like, where's the consistency? I haven't seen real consistency with Sondi yet, so it's
She's
very like
everywhere.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah. But let's talk about what we thought that was gonna happen last episode with Whitney
child.
when she got back to work. Was that
Mm-hmm.
that's not what we assumed. She just came
No.
in there like a boss, as if everything was everything. I was surprised because she was being
I wasn't
mean.
surprised, but because I knew that in order for people to not look at her as a failure or damsel in distress kind of thing, like she had to come in there feeling like, yeah, like I'm here, I'm back, I own
Mhm.
this. But we all know that's a mask, right? Like that's a
Mhm.
mask of I'm hurt, I'm in pain kind of situation. And we see
Yeah.
that later on in the episode when she's talking to Rada and she's like, nobody asked me if I was okay. Like you just asked for a favor.
Yeah, exactly. And then the intern or who the coworker, the helper, the
Yeah,
sister.
Rada. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rada. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, you're not really the easiest person to act like to check in on." And
Yeah.
she was like, "That's fair," because she does have this image of just being a boss ass bitch.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really glad that she made that comment because I think Whitney needs to understand, like, hey, if you present yourself in this kind of way, this is how people are gonna treat you. I'm not saying that it's right, right? We've all had that conversation where it's like, well, if you put somebody in a police uniform, what's gonna happen? Well, they're gonna think they're short of cops, right? And so for me, it's like, well, how do I decide how am I going to show up, and what do I, and she could have easily also had a conversation with Rada and been like, like today's my first day back, it's rough, whatever the case is, this person has taken up for you for the last 4.5 weeks, and then
Mhm.
plus when you were supposedly gone on your honeymoon, your wedding or
Mhm.
whatever. So it's like, at least give me the opportunity to show up for you, or if I don't, then bring that opportunity up. I think sometimes we wait too long for people to ask us what's wrong instead of just saying, hey, this is what's wrong.
Right, exactly. No, I definitely agree with that. But I was surprised with Whitney rejecting that Britain guy. I
i
was like,
wasn't
okay.
i
I
wasn't
thought that she was
surprised.
going to go back, like not filling a void, but I thought that she was gonna like fill a void.
I think she feels too guilty about Ola to even
Yeah,
consider having sex with somebody else right now, especially considering that he was her one and only until she
yeah.
cheated, right? So I feel like there's a little bit of shame that surrounds her
Mhm.
around this situation. So I'm not surprised, but
Well, for me, it feels like, because when some people step out, is because they feel like they were missing something, right? So now she
yeah,
knows
FOMO,
what it's like on the other side. She's like, okay, I see what that is, and it's like,
right?
meh. Now it's like, I wish I got back with my man, my man. So
Exactly.
seeing a fond brother, it's just like, okay, tempting, but not really, you
Yeah,
know.
not really.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what this is going to happen with this guy because I don't think that's going to be the last that we see of him. So, cheers to a new character coming in with his accent, right?
I
Um,
know.
but let's go to your trash ass friend. Let's talk about your trash ass friend, Renee.
Oh my gosh, I'm kind of sick of her. She get on my
Bro,
nerves every episode.
bro, come on. What are you like? What? Okay, I will give her this. She didn't know she was talking to the richest man in the room. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll give her that. But this man told you that he was in the music business and he was a recorder, whatever. And this is the same thing. Like you shitted on our homeboy for this, and now you're here talking to this guy.
Yeah, she said like it's okay if you're unemployed. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no.
Just because Jason isn't doing well in his industry or whatever, I
Well,
guess he
I
doesn't.
mean, he's not that it's not he doing well. He just started and he used a lot of her money, their money,
Yeah.
right, to start it up. So I get the frustration. But the idea that you would even entertain, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't network, right? But
Hmm.
I feel like I'm interested to see where this is going to go. Because in my head, I'm like, well, maybe she'll connect them and, Jason can get his business off the ground or his whatever the
Hmm.
case is. But then at the same time, we remember that Jason is in Atlanta
Hmm.
and he's doing his own thing out there. But yo, like, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like
It
how I
gives
don't like.
me user vibes. Me personally, I don't keep friends like Renee around my circle. I don't do that. Like all she does is ask for a handout.
Hmm.
Like Whitney mentioned the sponsorship. She's like, "Why don't you sponsor me? Like
Right.
you know I need this. Like I don't got no money.
Yeah.
Basically, like you need to put." And so she felt forced, even though she did kind of like promise Roddy,
Hmm.
the sponsorship, and then she just gave it to her friend because
Yeah.
she's always like a damsel in distress, and she always puts her needs before like everybody's, for real.
It's very weird. I mean, in different ways, they enable each other. I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, I don't feel like they're being as honest as they could be in all their situations, because it shouldn't have taken that long for anybody to point out that Sondi should tell Matthew about
Hmm.
the apartment. You know what I mean? The same way that Renee is over here. All it seems like she's trying to do things, but for whatever reason, she always needs a extra step up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's just very weird. And then of course, Whitney is she at least she's not spiraling this episode.
Yeah.
She seems to have some sort of consistency or continuity throughout the episode. But
Hmm.
it's very interesting, to say the least.
I agree. I just hope that what's his name, Matthew,
Hmm.
forgives Sandy, and maybe they might be able to work it out. Because I don't know where my mind would be at if I found that my man had a secret spot.
It's a breach of trust. It's a very big deal, because
Yeah.
imagine that I've been living with you for months and then telling you I'm going one place and I'm going somewhere else for
Mhm.
months, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's very hard. And I think that if the shoe were on the other foot, we would be flaying him out right now. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like,
yeah.
I can't believe so same thing goes with Sandy. Like, I can't believe she didn't tell him about the apartment, even if she said, I'm gonna live here when I have
Mhm.
my fights, or if I need some space, and I just want you to know that I'm going to the apartment. But to do it now, it would feel like you're only, first of all, you didn't tell me shit. Let's be clear, right?
Yeah.
Ola snitched on you, so you got caught. That's why you're saying what you're saying now. So it's just very, I don't know. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. He has every right to be upset, and
Yeah. Yeah, because the way that they were just walking, it was like, "Do you miss being out here?"
right,
And
you got a whole
you heard her
opportunity.
answer. It was like, "Not really," but then yet you have a home.
Yeah,
Still, you
yeah.
must really miss it here for you to keep that apartment.
I know, it's
Yeah,
real
and then
raggedy.
Olu, why is he like coming back to the same spot?
Because we know he's hurt, but he still loved Whitney. It's no getting
Yeah.
around that. It's no getting around that. They have been together for quite some time. And he's in his feels right now. I think he's going through his stages. I don't want to say stages of grief, but he went from being angry to really kind of like settling in it right now. I think that's where
Mhm.
he is. He's in a settle
Mhm.
stage. Like, I'm thinking about this. Like, is this something I can get over? Is this worth it? Like, what
Yeah.
do I do now? Kind of situation. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how this plays out over the next few episodes for sure.
So predictions. Do we still think that Olu might get back with Whitney? Comment below.
I'm actually rooting for them,
Me
and not
too.
because I feel like a strong love is a love you don't give up on, but also Whitney needs to figure out why she did what she did, because the apology she gave Ola was trash. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always gonna stand by that, and so I just think that it's very interesting, to say the least. So yeah, that's for the next episodes. I feel like Ola and Whitney will have some conversations. I
Okay.
feel like Matthew and Sandy will probably take a small break. And
Yep.
I think that Renee is going to get caught out with this dude via
Mhm.
Instagram, social media, or something. And our homie is gonna Jason gonna feel some kind of way, like, because this is why you breaking up with me, but now you're here with this guy.
Yeah, or who knows? They might be like working together. Like maybe Jason might be
Yeah,
working. Like something juicy might
something
happen.
happens.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
They're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, that's like my ex," and he's gonna be like, "Yo, homie, I didn't know." Like
right. Yeah.
crazy.
So listen, y'all, let us know your thoughts. Let us know your comments. How you feeling? Who you liking right now? Who you don't like? You can spill it all in the comments below. And until next time, you know where to find us. We'll be
It's
back next week for another review from the world. Peace,
bye.
y'all.
Big gold bell,